Past the
Runway.
please.
Oh, now the recording started. Awesome. Well, welcome back. It's Past the Runway with your hosts, Fletcher.
And your other host, Pauli.
Bringing it to you now here in a new year. Past my birthday now, which I celebrated yesterday when we were recording this.
We'll give you a quick retroactive happy birthday, and happy birthday to Zella as well, who was on the same day, as a matter of fact.
And Betty White as well.
The legend.
Turned 99.
Man, it's not too late. Look, what time do you think Betty White could get on Damn? Time to start now.
I mean, like, realistically speaking, after watching Pierce Brosnan play Goldeneye, I would think Betty White could maybe achieve something lower than a minute 20.
I'll tell you what, if we're doing Pierce Brosnan versus Betty White multi, I got money on Betty White. I think she would just wreck him.
I think it was on, I want to say Colbert, where Brosnan played him in was it Colbert? No, it was Fallon, I think. Played him in a match of multi, and Brosnan beat the ever loving crap out of him. Although both of them were very, very bad.
It went better than it still went better than Mike Tyson playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So that was pretty.
It's a low bar.
Low bar still got to be cleared by somebody.
But this is true. This is true. Well, I think we can just go ahead and jump on in. Let's see. We got our trivia this week, brought to you by me. There are currently, as of this recording, and obviously not accounting for the inevitable things that are being hoarded, because shockingly, hoarded things do not count on this show. I will mention that later. Keep that in the back of your head. There are currently 32 standing untieds in Goldeneye, so a little over half the game. How many of them were achieved prior to myself joining the Elite?
Okay. So how many were achieved before before you existed, as far as, you know, this space is concerned anyway?
Essentially, yes.
This is where we're going by your first PR. That's what we would count then, yeah?
I mean, the first PR was like 2 days after I joined, and there were no... Well, technically, there was an untied achieved between myself joining the Elite and posting my first PR. However, that time is no longer an untied, so it does not count.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't have to lawyer this one out then.
No.
When I give and you're like, oh, it's wrong by one, and I have to be like, well, actually, and I adjust the glasses that I don't own or wear.
On another tangent, before we move on, I often wear my blue light glasses when sitting at my computer, and especially on like Zoom calls and whatever. A lot of my friends have now just accepted the fact that I wear glasses and will reference them on occasion. I'm like, you guys realize I never wear these when I'm anywhere but in my computer chair.
Those are those the glasses that tint everything like slightly yellow to like cut down on the light?
Mine aren't like the classic Gunners that like you see Irie or the old videos of Darby and wearing. They just look like normal glasses, but they do give things a very, 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 very slight yellow tint.
What if you got like regular glasses but just wrapped them in like that yellow like saran wrap? Does that work?
I would I would imagine that it would work. How well it would work or function practically speaking, would be up for debate.
Because it might block the light, but it also might block everything.
Yeah, it might
So
just block your vision flat out.
it would work, but it may not be functional working.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So
So I'll think on that. I'll try to figure out how many of the 32 were achieved. Before you decided to throw your hat in the ring.
Indeed. All right, well, talking about throwing hats into rings, that is actually a perfect segue here for me. We've talked a fair bit, and obviously it's been a pretty big bit of back and forth here in the community. A bunch of action on Damn Double O, and someone coming in, throwing his hat into the ring. Luke Sklar is jumping in with Damn 00155.
I've heard of this kid before. He's pretty good.
Yes, coming out of his 13th retirement to achieve what was once a world record until very recently when Mark achieved 154. It seems that from his comment, Luke is also attempting to slay it, joining the crew of Clemens and Elu in questing after the elusive 4 at the end of the timer.
Yeah, what a treat that this particular gang of players is all playing the same level at the same time, and especially Damn Double O, where it's almost the perfect mishmash of I need to be highly skilled, but then I need a healthy amount of luck to get me through the basement and not just get backed into another plane of existence.
So it'll be interesting to see who ties it. I think my money, and this may come as a this may be a controversial opinion here. I think my money's on Elu.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad money considering he transitioned from his work on Airbase to here. So we all, and it's not like Elu's not an old master of Damn himself in his own right.
Yeah.
So if we see Elu as Bond as Elu too, this man wouldn't be upset about it.
Indeed, I can definitely. He's sitting at 156 right now, so he's a little bit behind the curve of Clemens and Luke, but Elu has faced worse odds before. So we'll.
If anyone could pull a skip out of his pocket, it would probably be Elu. So.
Probably indeed. Speaking of pulling out of pockets, coming out of nowhere, at least to me, I didn't even know he was still playing. Our boy Mathieu de Carafel coming out and posting his fifth Cradle Agent 33 completion on Agent. His first was unrecorded. His next 3 were while he was waiting on capture and he was practicing, and the 5th took longer than the first 4 altogether. So congrats that you finally did it. Don't play 4 records or anything really if you don't have capture. Maybe this will be the example for time immemorium of why you should not play for this nonsense, especially Cradle, when you do not have a capture card set up. But congrats to him anyway.
You say it might be an example used for history, but history has a nice tendency of repeating itself. So I'm not sure if anyone's going to learn the lesson here. But it is good to have Mathieu back. I like him, and he's good. So it's nice to have him around. It's not nice to be playing Cradle though. That's disgusting. No. But at least you're done until some wild boy somehow makes 32 exist.
Please no. Please spare us. We already have to deal with Runway 21. And speaking of Runway 21, that was actually a totally unintended segue. Sitting at the top of the Runway leaderboards, uncontested right now, we have Joachim Jung, who I still do not know how to pronounce his name, so I apologize again if I messed it up. He has now achieved Runway 00 Agent 32 using the 3-tap strategy.
Oh, is this... When was the last 32 even? Was it...
A very long time ago. I believe Goose was the last person to get it. Goose got it in April of 2017.
Man, has it already been 10 years? April 2017. Dang. Maybe this is the hero we need to dip into the sub 30s finally. We've been talking about.
I will say, if he is, he totally wasted his time with 3-tap strat. He should have just gone straight to the double leans. But
hey, it's for the meme.
It's a bad meme. It's a very bad meme.
Well, that's of course subjective. I would agree that it's a bad meme just because, well, first of all, it's Runway. So, but if you want to get into the specific, if you want to call 32 a bad meme doing with that strategy, then I wouldn't know. So you would have a better vantage point on that than myself.
It's an awful meme. Go for 34 with 2-tap, and then if you want better, don't even bother with 3-tap. Go straight for double leans. Your time will be better spent.
Or in the case of Wally, it's just time spent, I guess.
Yes.
How big do you think Wally's notebook is of like the fucking all the leans and the B completes and it's got to be like let's see, it's got to be the size of some like impressive tome by now, right?
It's probably up there.
Good grief. Imagine playing Runway in 2021. Jesus.
I literally cannot.
I literally don't want to. But speaking of levels where you run around and throw explosives, see? Not bad, right? And we're gonna get into the PD side of things with my boy, your boy, everyone's boy. We all love him. It's Taka back once again, nodding his first record in 8 years, getting the Chicago SA25. Finally, I might add, according to him, it said it took him about 26 duplications before he banked this in.
Such a long time.
And I watched the run. He doesn't do a particularly insane mine throw, but his climbs are almost instant. They look just like mwah, just bang bang, and he's already running over to the hole. Does what, in my opinion, looks like a safe throw. I usually do the mine throw where like I'm a quarterback on the run, and there's like 2 linebackers coming at me, and I just like fling that shit. But he almost looks like he just casually lines it up, dings it, and he's on his merry way, and that's good enough for 25. So I know he's happy to have this over with, because if you catch him on Twitter, he's been talking about it for a while now.
Oh, has he? I'm that may be one of the few uses that justify Twitter still existing as a media platform, is being able to hear what Taka thinks about PD.
It would be on the incredibly short list, because there's a much longer list of things that don't justify.
This is quite true.
But between getting Taka's thoughts and shit posting with light, those are the 2 reasons that I would keep Twitter around. The rest of it, you can take it. I don't need it personally.
I don't use it, so.
Oh, there you go. But anyway, as we said, shout out to Taka. Even posted the face reveal with the with the end screen. So what what a guy, what a guy. Always glad to have a living legend back running around, causing a ruckus.
Yep.
And now we're going to move on to the next PR where I've got Happens. You may or may not remember Happens because lately, well, he's a busy guy, so he just posts randomly from time to time, mainly in Discord, not mainly on the rankings, but this time he did. We got a nice little defection PA 148, just showing off that hey, I still exist in terms of playing the video game every now and then.
And he missed landing on the computer.
That's a notable run just because I think just about every time I've missed landing the computer, I've been deleted 3 seconds later by all the sanity guards in there. So the fact that he could even run around and make it, because you have to run by but from that security room to the lift, you have to like encounter at least 10 people. So the fact that he didn't get deleted is pretty fortunate, I would say.
Yeah, there's quite a few guards down there on the ground floor, which everyone keeps like. I swear I see a bunch of people call it the basement. It's like it's not the basement; it's the ground floor.
You understand? Like if you're going down, then we just call everything the basement. Because I mean, if you wanted to be that guy, like technically, that room under the dam is not really a basement. I'm not sure what you would call it, but
I don't know what you would call it.
But calling it a basement is probably not like wholly accurate, but it gets the point across.
I guess it's kind of dark and damp. It has. I would go to defense for the damn 00 quote unquote basement because it has the aura of a basement, whereas the ground floor in the defection tower is literally the lobby of a building.
What if we just got it over where where you drop down to complete cradle, like you drop in the hole, just start being like, just get in the lobby when they be, oh my god, my music cue when I was dropping into the basement was insane. I just start calling that a basement just because you're going down. That could be a good bit.
That could be a good bit. Maybe we'll commit to it. I don't know. We'll see.
It is the year for that, I heard.
This is true.
But not to run off on too many tangents so early. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. It usually does.
Yeah.
Good on you Happens. If you happen to catch this,
happen to catch this.
See, I'm pretty good at this. It's almost, was that intentional or not? You can't even tell.
Who knows?
But good to have you around. Happens. Post it on the ranks if you want to. If you want to do another one, preferably one where you A, land on the console, and B, post a video of it. That wouldn't be the worst two things you could do, in this man's opinion. But it's nice to have you back. And speaking of people nice to have back, you may remember this guy. You remember a guy called Tabor?
I made him retire.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he has a perfect dark time. Made him retire back in the long ago year of 2019, is it?
Yeah, it would have been January 5th, 2019, when we premiered Part 11.
Good grief! Wow. Running back. Quick rewind to birthday. Happy 2-year birthday to Part 11.
True.
Because that wasn't too long ago, but
it really wasn't.
Tabor got War PA 58, which any sub one's pretty good, especially in such a luck box like roulette casino that is War and the doors of War. So not bad.
Sitting on 58 myself, I will agree. The annoying level.
That's 56 currently. Let's see what 58 was worth when you got it. if I can use the old internet machine. It was 67, so it has lost 9 since then, which was again
Early,
that
early
was
in
also
league last
yeah,
year.
that was June 2019. So that's also essentially, well, it's a year and a half old. So
Yeah.
that might be 2 years old before we get back around to it.
Oh, maybe even older.
Maybe even older. I am not in the camp of the Sam Fishers of the world where I think war is good. I absolutely uh, hate this. I
I
hate this shit.
I did not enjoy it either. Not one of the Fletcher levels in PD.
Oh. The only probably the only way I could get excited about war these days is if either like Sam Fisher posted like SA42, or if we saw Expert get his 54 back, that would be awesome.
Mmm.
So I'd be down for that. But beyond that, I don't even want to think about war, to be honest.
I would
Because
agree.
as as a poets, as certain poets said back in what I would presume is our Father's Day, is what is it even good for? Absolutely nothing.
Hard to argue with that.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Well, should we take a look at the recent happenings that have been happening here and there and everywhere?
Certainly. Tell me about LTK League. I've been admittedly pretty out of the loop.
I'm glad you asked. Well, at current standing, we're looking at a very aggressive 2-team race, as well as just about any league eventually comes down to anyway. But uh, outside of that, we've had some incredible surprises in the form of certain records, because you've got excuse me. So you've got people like Mystic Cheese not only you know untying Archives DLTK. You remember we mentioned Archives LTK earlier last time, but
Mm-hmm.
we didn't really dig into DLTK. And not only did he untie 105, but then followed it up and cut it another 3 and made it a nice, healthy 102, which looks, just looking at the run, it looks like a pretty strong time now.
That is one of the few records I've actually watched already prior to the end of LTK League. So good shit.
And let's see. So we've also got. Let's see. I know JD got the Archives 55. Speaking of, Archives, but also, yeah, Dusky got it as well. So he pocketed that one too. So that's 2 new tied records for Archives LTK, which even still, like, even with it's rare to get an LTK bottleneck
Yeah.
for a record. So it's rare to see one multi-tie, and so seeing one on GE with 4 people having it is that's kind of a sight to behold, because that's not that common, and it's also not common for PD outside of the fact that, well, obviously, 30, 40 people have dual 9, but that one's kind of maxed.
Yeah, that's kind of just the way Archives is as an LTK level. It's not that difficult to get a pretty good time on Archives if you're already, because the LTK speedrun ultimately isn't that different from a normal Archives SA or double speedrun. Obviously, you have to not get shot and die, but I could totally see someone getting 54 and clearing up this lockjaw. I don't think it would be that unreasonable.
No, and I'm surprised someone hasn't gotten it already. Now, maybe someone of the aforementioned 55s is trying to get it,
Or
just to go
someone's
in and knock.
hoarding it just because, lulz.
Oh well, yeah. Tis the season, as they say in December. So you never really
Unfortunately.
you never really can tell. So we will see about that. But we've it's been a it's been pretty contested on the top because you have the teams led by Deep Darkness and Icy, just, having a battle back and forth, and you couldn't really ask for two better people to impart knowledge on any level you would want to play in any
True.
context of LTK.
Very true.
Not that surprising. Special shout out to Dildonius for joining the short group of people who have beaten all 42 of PDLTK's levels. So that was pretty sick. It took him
I saw
about 10 days total, I think. So man's going heavy into it. And so was the rest of Icy's team, because you got Therm going in there, but you also have the machine himself. You've got Bands, and then you've got Pogo playing both games. So it's a really dangerous unit.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also got, and this is what I like. You have the old boys of Sean Johnson, SRT speedrun trainer, and Josh Pett. Also just diving in and participating, much like Expert did back in the summer league. And I think that's really cool when something's interesting enough that some of the old boys want to get a piece of the action. So I think that's really cool myself.
Yeah, I would agree.
So far, it's looking pretty good. I think if one were to end up being run again, and it's not something I'm too worried about until like the final gun sounds, but the system looks like it's a good system. But as the first one, you never really know what you're going to get. So there probably needs to be some slight like number tweaking and here and there. But once you have all the data, you can take a look at it. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with how it's going, because the people that are playing the most are being rewarded the most, and that's really how it should be. Because it would be a bit unreasonable for someone to get like 8 times and be way out in front of someone who has 100. Mm-hmm. But some tweaking of the numbers is probably like in order. But overall, I'm pretty pleased for it just being like what's essentially a blind run of a league that we've never done before.
I mean, just from glancing occasionally at the leaderboard of the teams, I'm like, okay, there's too many points here. We need to cut this back a little bit. And we ran into the same issue with normal league and the dailies. Like that, you end up with it's fair to say that like the top 2 teams are extremely close, which is true. But it's also fair to say that there is a 90,000 point differential between first place and last. Blame Ace all you want for picking players that may or may not actually physically exist. But as soon as I looked at the rules for this, I'm like, all right, too many points. If there's a league round 2 for this, there's going to be a lot less points next time.
Yeah, there certainly will be. But I like it. I like starting in with it super high, because it's a lot easier to accentuate like the gaps and like the problems when they're like super big, as opposed to when like sort of like ambiguous. So with this, you can see like, oh, they're kind of big. So it's a lot easier to like make changes that are justifiable when they're that big.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of and I don't know, I'm just gonna give up on that segue. I was reading through the script on this, which you put together, and I didn't even notice that there was a mate chat with Dr. Light. I completely missed that.
Yeah, came through the the wire a little bit late in the evening, which obviously with my with my old man schedule hours, I'm not built to stay up till 11, 12, 1 in the morning and watch a mate chat. But I did catch some of it because Cal's on top of this shit. He's very quick to like cut it, rip it, let's get it online. So anyone can catch the VOD. But the story Doctor Light's pretty cool. Comes out of nowhere and comes with it hot and heavy. Just very strong player. Very cool guy, which he's one of the guys I end up DMing all the time, usually about, again, like we do on Twitter, we just troll and post random bullshit. But it was a good listen. I have to finish it up, but
yeah, I'm extremely behind on all of my YouTube stuff to catch up on, so I may not be able to get to this here for another week or two because my life's pretty busy right now.
Don't worry, it'll sit there in that marked for watch later and just annoy you until you get to it.
Normally my watch later consists of, on a good day, like I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 videos, like super recent stuff, because I'm generally pretty good at staying on top of it. I'm sitting at 41 right now.
You're gonna have to take time off of work for that,
and that includes some longer things like the maid chat. So
our watch later is currently slap full of it's not things for like haha, like oh interesting. It's video after video of so here's the brachial plexus nerves, and here's this one, and here's what it's attached to. So that's my current life. And not that that's not interesting, but it's a lot. Did you know that there are a lot of nerves in your body? I bet you didn't.
Is brachial plexus a made up term?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure. It's not a nerve I'm personally familiar with.
It's the set of like
brachial.
So if you're going,
I know brachial. That's
the nerves that run through your when you get down to C5, C6, and down to like thoracic 1. It's just that section of nerves that run out through all those dermatomes, like in your midline, and they're really thick, so they're like highlighted and accentuated. And since I'm going to be dealing with the spine a lot, I have to basically know them like I know I exist, so I have to know them extremely well.
How many of our listeners do you think understand what you mean when you say C5, C6?
I'm surprised they understand when I say anything at all, to be perfectly honest with you. So if they know what C5 and C6 means, that's just a bonus for them. But
fair enough.
Quickly, before we move on, to bring this tangent back around, another excellent mate chat done by Cal as per, and always like to hear from my boy Dr. Light. So go check that out in your spare time if you haven't already.
Maybe he'll give me some more ammunition to ban him again.
Look, we called the follow for Banjo Armistice. He's modded again. We should cool it down for a little bit.
It's been a little bit, so we'll see. So moving on, the Outer Heaven 2020 year in review part 2 for the second half of the year debuted a couple days ago on Saturday, I believe. I was unable to watch. Were you able to watch?
I did catch some of it. It's just a fun thing that particular sect of the community likes to run by new community member LttP, of course.
Mm-hmm. I like how we're calling him a new community member, even though he's been around for 3 years.
No. New community member, which I mean to rise in relevancy so quickly and to organize such an event in like a week and a half is, I mean, it's impressive. I'll say it. I'll give him that. I haven't done that. Have you done that?
I admittedly no.
Oh, so I'll give him that. Great watch. Great. We're building hype to like Chris G got some. What's he gonna get? Like, oh, is it because he's been the absolute psycho that's been trying to get Cradle 32. So nice build up, and then just a great just a great little prank, like a haha and cheeky XD moment that I can appreciate. And congrats on the Egypt 44, which is still obviously a dummy good time.
And this
But
this harkens back to, I mentioned it earlier, hoarded times don't count. So that's why it was not in my 3 times.
So congrats to the long-term storytelling, which I personally am a fan of.
That's true. Gotta explore that long-term narrative. It's all about the long term.
You gotta build it up and then pay it off. But sometimes 6 months isn't enough. As I'm sure we'll see. I'm sure we'll see an amalgamate. Someone's got like some 9-month time, and it's like, oh, look at this. So I'm looking for the long term payoff. You know what I mean? Those taste a little bit better.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, one last little thing coming up here is this PD year in review, which frankly, I've read the forum posts about it, and I can't fully understand what exactly it's supposed to be.
Well, as you know, sorry, I was being attacked. As you know, this particular man called Ryan White sometimes gets on the internet box and talks about these video games that we play, and as is tradition, he usually does a GoldenEye year in review where he just goes through all the hits the highlights, like the records and the untieds and the highly mentionables. He just does like a stream in that fashion. Well, coming up, he's gonna do one for Perfect Dark as well because, well, I mean, quite frankly, it's been a nice healthy year for Perfect Dark action. So I'm not sure what he's gonna talk about because, much like you, I can't really translate the thread into English, but it's apparently going to be on the 20th and 21st. I'm a little shaky on that as from what he posted, but if there's a VOD, because I'm sure it'll be streamed at unhealthy hours, for myself. But
oh yeah, I'm deciphering the hieroglyphics now, and he's basically saying that he refuses to stream earlier than 1 a.m. Eastern because apparently the world is too loud before that time.
Well, I'm not here to say that he's wrong, but I will say that at 1 a.m. Eastern, if I'm not in my bed asleep, something's wrong. So
I will agree. As I suppose 7 or 8 months ago, that was maybe not the case. But ever since beginning to work full time during quote unquote normal hours, like if I'm not in bed by 11, I am cranky the next day.
And it's not good because it's hard for me to wake up at 6 a.m. as it is. So I definitely need my sleep. That's for sure.
Mm. Well, I think that brings us along to the forum recap.
All right, little recap for the boys of the elite.
And the first forum post we need to talk about, and arguably the most important, maybe ever posted on the Elite forums in the history of the forums existing. Indeed, in the history of humankind. Should Kratos have to play Link to the Past? Because apparently information has come to light that Kratos, who is a GoldenEye speedrunner, well known for his stylized logo with his name designed as the main logo from A Link to the Past, the SNES classic. It turns out he has never played Link to the Past, which quite frankly at least in my opinion, is sacrilege and grounds for immediate prosecution.
All right, look. I I can understand, right? Because not everyone like. Have you played every game ever?
No, certainly not. I don't have the
Sure.
time.
Yeah, exactly. And neither have I. So like I get it, right? So like games are cool and there's lots of like there's lots of great games that I've never played. Like not for a minute in my life have I played, every single game ever. So like I get it, right? It's just one of them things. You'll never get to them all. But so let's take this for example, right? So I myself like I've never played Minecraft, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. But so how does it work? Like I've never played Minecraft, but then I turn around and I'm like, oh, here's my logo, and it's like Minecraft-esque, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine if my avatar or whatever was just like my name spelled out in like Minecraft blocks, but I've never played Minecraft. How does that work?
I'm currently going to a website, textcraft.net, and creating a Pollywood logo out of Minecraft blocks.
Right. So the way I see it is like if you're gonna, if you're gonna fly the flag, so to speak, and you're gonna rep, then like you got to at least play the game. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be out here with like you can't just be like, oh, here's Link to the Past. It's on my shirt. Well, have you ever played Link to the Past? No. Why do you have the shirt? I don't know. Now you look stupid. What are you doing? So what I'm saying is, it's okay. I'm not mad. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not mad. But we can fix this. It is okay. Just play the game. It's gonna be all right. Like no one's gonna be mad. It's gonna be all right. Just go ahead and boot it up. Trust me. As a guy that's very experienced in this field, it's great. So just go ahead and boot it up. It's all right. We can get past this. You know what I mean? We can work this out.
I'm mad. Am I allowed to be mad? I'm mad. Play
You're
the
allowed to be
game.
mad.
What are you doing? You make the logo, dude. Like someone had to make that, right? Like I doubt. I'm not sure if like let's see. Link to the Past logo generator. Let's see if I can just make this somewhat. No, I can't. This is definitely not a thing. Someone had to make this design, and it is very clearly the Link to the Past thing. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. And like, I'm sure that he can like maybe plead ignorance, like he didn't know. But I doubt he didn't know. And from the statements that he's since made, like it's pretty obvious that he's aware. Like, and what? I can't accept that. I'm sorry. Kratos, I'm not sure I can forgive you for this. This may be the end for you. I'm sorry.
This is it. Is this wilder than his Bunker 17?
As wild as that run is, this probably would be similar to if I had witnessed him get 16 instead that same time.
Man. Is it better or worse? Like, it's definitely worse if he made it instead of someone else made it for him, right?
Yes, I would say if like someone else made it, there's definitely the plea to ignorance there. But if he made it, that's just like, dude, what are you even thinking?
Well, here's the thing. I got news for you, but plea to ignorance denied. I deny that. So we're throwing that out. Can't do that.
The trial court here in PTR has sentenced you to stop being a bad person, and I am going to go and go against what the people in the forum thread are saying. you are not sentenced to play Ocarina of Time because your logo is not based on Ocarina of Time, and maybe it's my own controversial opinion that Link to the Past is better than Ocarina of Time. But OOT is hilariously irrelevant to the task at hand. You must play Link to the Past in order to redeem any sense of credibility in my eyes.
Well, it can't be OOT, because it'd be like if your mom or whatever is like, hey, can you go pick up some milk, and you came back later and you're like, I built a table. What? That's not what I asked for.
Because to get milk brings back heavy cream.
Kratos, look, man, look, everyone's mad at you, but listen, look. Listen, buddy, like, you're my guy, right? You understand that, right? Just make it right. Make this right. It's okay. You can. I believe in you. I got your back, but you need to make it right.
All right. Well, now that I'm done fuming, I guess we do have to talk about OOT with the.
Listen, it's rough when you have. It's rough when you have to. You have to castigate, a fellow member, but sometimes, sometimes like things have to be done. You know what I mean? Whether they're pretty or not.
True. Fellas Part 10.
My favorite series.
I'm trying to find it.
I got you right here, mate. It's Fellas Part 10. What is your favorite Zelda OOT main dungeon song? See, Kratos, we can't do what's your favorite LttP main dungeon song because you haven't played it. But if you had played it, you would know that they use the same song for every dungeon, so you wouldn't even have to pick. Basically,
this is true. I'm not sure I know enough of the OOT dungeon songs off the top of my head to make a judgment call here.
Well, I know the only three that matter are the three that are the highest vote getters in the poll, which is Forest Temple at 1, a Spirit Temple at 2, and Fire Temple with the chanting not removed at 6. So those are the votes that matter.
Yeah. Hold a gun to my head. Forest Temple is probably what I'm gonna say, but the OOT dungeon tracks never really stuck with me, I guess.
Oh, mate, I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna tell you Spirit Temple because of the aesthetic, mate. The old temple with the with the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
That's all I got to say on the. Well, that's all I got to say on the matter.
I will say I have played the game before. I've played it multiple times. I've 100%ed it.
I will say that DMing someone the Fire Temple chant with the music cut out is just the chant is excellent shit posting fodder. I love doing that. So that's just me. That's what I do in my spare time. So you don't have to be like me. That's just what I like.
Hey, I won't judge. I won't judge. I play Ophos.
I can't judge you. I also play Ophos.
Speaking of Ophos, meme leagues, and there's been a couple pretty good turbo times coming out here in the last week or so. Gromike tied the S2SA Turbo 25, which has been standing for quite a while. And our boy Zach, Psychroptic, untied Depot Turbo 12, beating one of the most iconic turbo times achieved very long ago. I believe Mouser untied 13. Could be wrong.
Such an insanely long time ago, and it's not that he slammed into the wall at impossible speed and warped. Which, to be honest, I don't know if going that fast makes it easier or harder. I suspect that it makes it easier. I suspect it would be easier because there's no weapon switch involved.
I've messed with it. It makes it significantly easier.
But to at that speed bang out the train shot and do it, that's dope. So that was awesome to behold.
Quite an epic run.
Speaking of doing things at breakneck speed, to throw the mine like 50 yards to like land on the helicopter on S2 by Gromik. That was insane because that record that record stood untied for like double-digit years. Just with the advent of getting the objective through the wall and not even needing the nade, even was the only thing that made this run even possible on paper. Can you imagine farming for a nade on S2 in turbo mode?
I was waiting for your qualifier there, because I needed the qualifier because I have in fact farmed for nades on S2 on numerous occasions.
Yeah, but turbo mode made.
Yeah, but turbo.
That's
yes.
that's a completely different context now.
Well, now you could and get an untied from it. So, people like to talk about free untieds, and there's one for you. Grind a nade on S2 SA Turbo. Have
Good
fun
luck.
hating your life.
Also, someone patching turbo mode to PD because I would love to do a couple memes, but it just doesn't exist, unfortunately.
That would be good. I feel like someone's got to be able to make a ROM hack of that. Like we have all these practice ROMs now. Someone's got to be able to figure out how to do like a turbo mod for.
I'm sure there's a Game Shark code for it, but it's just not in cheats. We get slow mode instead, which has some applications, but is not as entertaining to watch as turbo mode, obviously.
No, I would argue it is about 4 times as bad to watch.
Well, it is 4 times as slow, so that math checks out.
That was the point of the math.
Wow.
Funny how that works.
Crazy.
So we're ready to move into our weekly discussion. I'm afraid I don't know where we're going with this, so I'm gonna let you get the ball rolling here, and I'll see if I need to kick it.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you on a journey really quick. So just walk with me for a minute. I think you'll catch on pretty quick. So, and I'm not sure when this started or why, but whenever I'm playing. Either game really, but mainly PD because that's where my home is normally. Yeah. Whenever I get like stuck on like something goofy or something I can't even see or something that doesn't even make sense, I usually just be like, I got stuck on the Luke architecture. Don't know why. I guess it's because he's an architect, and as an architect, you would design you design buildings and such, right? Corridors, balustrades, even.
Big fan of balustrades.
Yes. So this discussion is going to be dedicated to, just not only any architecture, in either game that we just find particularly cool or neat or interesting, but like just things that shouldn't like be in the game and exist. Like first, so I'll start, right? So like, why is it that I'm nowhere near the P2 walls and I get stuck? Like, why are they oriented in a way where there's depressions everywhere? Like imagine if someone's front teeth, there were gaps in all the teeth and that's the corridor. Why is that a thing? Why am I just going down getting randomly stuck? Like who looked at that and was like, you know what? Just make it like this. Make it to where Johnny Guard can get stuck, get his head stuck, get his foot stuck, or trip.
I think you know who's at fault here, right?
I'm listening.
Greg.
Go to a GDG, game designer Greg.
Let me tell you about Greg. This man was the mastermind behind GoldenEye Perfect Dark. And when I say the mastermind, I mean he's some sort of wizard that suggests these god-awful ideas to the game developers and somehow convinces them that that's what they should do. Like, he went up to Dr. Doak and he's like, Doak, my boy, guards in GoldenEye should have crouching animations, and when they crouch, and Doak's like nodding his head feverishly at this point, and when they crouch, their hitbox should expand to the size of a large boat rather than the size of a human being. And Doak's just like foaming at the mouth to get ready and code this shit into the game.
And also, they should be completely unkillable.
Exactly. And Greg just wanders around the office as they're working on these games and just keeps adding these little bits into the game. Like, oh, you know what? In Duel, if John starts a rolling animation, and then you kill him, it shouldn't count as a kill until he finishes his rolling animation. And the developers and coders are just furiously writing all this down and implementing this into the game. And
I love that one because the normal guards don't drop their ammo either when you kill them like that.
And he wandered around those rare offices, just dropping the worst little things that he could into this game. And it's entirely his fault. Everything that is wrong with GoldenEye and PD, it is Greg's fault. And quite frankly, we need to find him and put him on trial, along with certain Kratos as well. But
yes, I agree. We could probably find him on Twitter if we looked hard enough, I'm sure.
Oh, probably. Although I know he works in secret. He's not in the GoldenEye credits. And it's been a while since I watched the PD credits, but he's also not there. He's either using an alias or maybe Greg is just some ephemeral spirit that wandered the rare offices, haunting them and just presenting these awful ideas.
What if Greg's the Chicago Ghost?
Oh, he could be.
Did you think about that?
I never thought that. This is a good point. I think we've discovered the secret of the Chicago Ghost. Greg's like, put me in.
Go ahead and mark that down. We'll have to circle back to this. We may have to add that to the urban legend list. We just might have to. But yeah, so like, what in GE is like so awfully designed, and you just get, it's there, but you just get like stuck on it.
Silo.
Like, anyway. Well, yes. So
the entirety of Silo, the walls are made of entirely irregular polygons. They look flat in a lot of cases, but you can get stuck on the walls in Silo just about anywhere. You can get stuck at just about every corner. You can get stuck on the railings. You can get stuck. The satellite's hitbox is like entirely incorrect, and can be tricky to get around. There's just it's like they just kind of took a paintbrush of polygons and just kind of sloppily put on a first coating on the walls, and didn't bother, making sure it was smooth or going and doing a second paint or putting any primer down or anything. They just, here's some polygons.
Speaking of polygons, let's talk about all the architectural decisions in PD in certain areas, but especially in Villa, where you decide to make oxygen a physical, solid object, where you just block cancel momentum.
I've been there.
Not a fan of
the Villa Stucks, both after the windmill button and right before the last set of guards in the basement.
A particular nasty one, like the final lift of attack ship, you can just get stuck in the center of the door. Imagine if you were walking into the grocery store and you just got stuck in the middle of the door.
You're just standing there.
Stuck there.
The door's wide open. It's one of those automatic sliding doors, opens to either side, and you're just stuck there right in the middle of the two in thin air.
One of the really bad ones is on the bridge of Ruins and War, which is really bad when I'm
That
trying
one,
to like
yep.
I'm trying to jump the gap on Ruins, and I actually get like digital whiplash from the sudden stop.
I don't think I've ever hit that one playing Ruins. I've definitely hit it playing War.
Oh, I've hit it 100 times playing War. It's made me so upset. Golly. Let's see. Oh, let's talk about these. Let's talk about these P2 stairs, which definitely weren't stolen copy paste from Silo and Painted Blue.
Oh
But
my
let's talk about
god,
let's
those
talk
things.
about the fact that you can run up them so fast you like go through them partially, and it stops your momentum completely.
Those. I remember trying to learn how to play P2 with any semblance of speed, and those stairs were one of the first things you run into, and they just don't work. You have to like run up them in a zigzag in order to actually go up them correctly.
Yeah, and it's the similar situation where if you play G5PA and you go to that little area, like when you go back up those stairs, it's the same thing. You're going so fast, you like clip into the stairs and clip back out, and it just completely stops your speed. Like what?
Yeah, those are just weird, and then the walls around those stairs on the way back up as well it's just very oddly shaped. Like it's like they put that there as an afterthought. Like they'd already designed the geometry, and they're like, "Oh, we need stairs here. They'll figure it out."
Like what company are they getting their metal from? Because there's something off about that metal. You shouldn't clip through it.
They just melted down the missile silo and then spread it throughout the country.
Like that theory where they say like if you have a quarter and you drop it like onto the top of your table, like in theory, like all the atoms and particles could be aligned in such a ridiculously like perfect way where it would fall right through the table instead of banging on top of the table. Like those are those stairs. That's that theory right there.
Fun thought experiment, that one. Again, one of those things that's so hilariously statistically unlikely that if it did happen, you should just give up and not even worry about anything for the rest of your life.
No, definitely not. You just be like, well,
well, it was a good run. But I've seen all that can be seen.
But sometimes you just got to not worry about these things,
I'm trying to figure out where to build here from architecture. What about like how impractical would it be to live in Carrington's villa?
I mean, it would be pretty impractical, but it would look insanely nice because it looks amazing.
This is true, but I feel like some of the rooms are just in weird places. Like the master bedroom is in such an awkward location. It's like right next to the dining room. Like why would you put it right next to a dining room?
Okay, so you can get up in the morning, go straight to your breakfast, I guess.
I mean, I guess if Carrington's into that. And I suppose it's an okay walk, but because why then is there the dining room and then like an office and then the kitchen's on the other side of the complex, essentially?
Not the impracticality of having a gun turret inside, like fully inside of a giant wind turbine that can't actually shoot at anything.
And that is also hard to explain. It feels like if he wants a bottle of wine too, like this man has to go on like a short adventure, like he has to go on a D&D one shot just to actually get down to the basement and get his bottle of wine and get back.
So here's my problem, right? So Carrington Villa has a dock, right?
Yeah. Oh, and then there's the dam, like blocking.
There's a
no
dam,
way
right?
in.
There's no access to like open water. So what are we doing? Like,
And there's
where
no
can we
boats.
go? Yeah. So like, but how would a boat get in and go in the boat out
Well,
to
I
the
mean,
dam?
you could. I suppose you could like have a boat or like some sort of small, like a jet ski or something already like in that little bay. I guess if we want to call it a bay, you could have it in there, and then you could have your own private little water spot. But then the docks seem entirely unnecessary at that point. Especially the lack of boat.
He has a giant helipad for like the Pelican like gunship from Halo to land there. You don't need a boat. Like, you have a helipad.
Yeah. Maybe like formerly, maybe that's like it's an old villa, right? And it's been there a while. So like there was a time and place where that dock was relevant. But then as technology advanced and Carrington got a hold of the villa, he's like, I'm going to put a dam up and get a helipad.
Maybe he's just that baller. He's like, nah, just go ahead and close that in. I want to have my own private bay that I can just go out there and
I don't want any of these boats coming in towards my land, you know. I'd hate to have these trespassers coming in via boat when they can literally just fly in. Like,
dang, is Carrington get off my lawn guy? Is he that guy? He's like, this is property?
Based on the fact that there are no staff at the villa during the level, I would say he's just a crotchety old guy in his mansion. He doesn't even have anyone to yell at. He doesn't even have staff to yell at.
He seems like such a laid-back guy. He doesn't seem like the kind to yell.
Well.
Although I guess he did kind of yell when he's blowing up the wall in G5. I mean, he's like, stand back. I guess that's the closest he's got to yelling.
Stand back. I suppose. He does tend to talk more, like, stern than anything else. Like, don't joke, Joanna.
He sounds very fatherly.
He does. But maybe the reason why he seems so mild-tempered in general is because when he goes to the villa, he just spends his entire time yelling because there's no one there to hear him.
Oh, so it's like an outlet. That's why it's so big.
Yeah, it's like when I get in my car and I'm just yelling at things. Like, I'm yelling at traffic lights just because I can, and it feels good to yell. Like, not for any other reason, but that way I seem more mild-tempered otherwise.
Yelling, because traffic does be getting me quite annoyed.
Oh,
that's for sure.
I don't get mad at people all that often. If I get mad at you and you are a human being, you have done something horribly wrong.
You've crossed a couple lines here, bud.
But I have exactly zero patience for inanimate objects because why would you have any patience with inanimate objects? It's an inanimate object. It can't go any faster than it currently is going. So you're welcome to be as impatient with it as you like. And so I have zero patience with inanimate objects. So if I get that classic bad traffic RNG where I get stopped by every light on the way home, I'm gonna be upset.
I can't really argue with that logic. So I'm gonna give you. We're not keeping score, but I'm gonna give you the point on this one. I
was gonna say what points? What?
No, just go on. It's like it's like whose line? Like the points don't matter, but just have one.
I mean, yeah, I suppose it's just a natural continuation of what has essentially been a huge tangent here for our weekly. I'm trying to think of other good examples of Luke architecture in Goldeneye. Um, I mean, pretty much
Some
any
Wall, to some extent, has that.
think doesn't
Does the depot warp count?
the architect did put a crack in there for some reason.
Tiny
So it could-
infinitesimal crack.
A very small crack. Maybe he's an insect sympathizer, and he wanted them to be able to get into the building.
Yeah.
Or he could be the scam, with the pest control people. So he skims off the top, let the bugs in.
Yeah. I mean, imagine a world where depot warp just is impossible and doesn't work. I mean, where everyone has depot 25 instead, and we're not even talking about 24 and 23 and the theoretical 22.
Can you the world where so now Depot's not only farming the cutscene, but it's farming the cutscene for the guy, and then you farm the boost afterward.
Yeah, and then you have to still play perfectly. Yeah, so you get the train shot and everything.
That sounds awful.
It does. I mean, it sounds in some ways equivalent to trying to get a warp. So,
In some,
maybe we're equally as worse off by the fact that it exists than the potential that it didn't.
Let's see. So yeah, I will say, like, as in contrast, like, as impractical as Carringtonville is, but it looks nice. The Carrington Institute is the design's perfect. It looks awesome.
I would
Everything is nice and laid out nice, sterile. Like, you can jump down from the balcony for fun, like, and that's what the warp is. I love the giant symbol in the lobby. Love that. It looks great.
We probably need like any sort of facilities though. And I mean, practically speaking, like, what is in Carrington's office? A table, a couch, and Carrington. Like, it's such an empty room besides that.
Wow. It's really.
And there's no bathrooms. There's no staff break room. There's no way in. There's no way out. Like, where do they live there? Do they not live there? If they live there, where do they sleep? Do they just, like, take a little kipper on the floor? Like, what do they do?
Staff's all down there in that parking garage area. Like, you have to go hunt for them. So I guess they're down there somewhere.
I don't know. It seems like there's way more questions than answers when you actually look at that building. Like, what were they thinking?
Who was the designer in Area 51 where it was like, for no reason, I'm gonna have randomly, I'm gonna have doors that open like at the speed of light. So why are they even there? Like, you're just better off not having them.
I could
not
not tell you.
It's not like they're airtight, because it's not like I know it sections off the nerve gas and escape, but the door's not doing that. There's no chance.
Oh no. I mean, practically speaking, no. But who's to say that future technology doors aren't better somehow than the doors we have now?
I mean, judging from the simulation that is PD, I'd say they're quite bad. I'll say it. Not a human architect, but like the architect known as the Sands of Time. Why is the crash site cave so shit? It is fucking awful. Why? Why did you? Why?
It doesn't
You couldn't.
work.
It
You
doesn't
couldn't have.
work.
You couldn't have eroded those rocks in a more reasonable manner.
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of more real bad example. I mean, oh, the perennial frigate doors that just don't function as doors as much as they do blockades.
Look, they could have been. They could have been a few like. They could have been a few inches wider and would have been fine. But no, they're as small as they could be.
It's not optimal.
The practical joker on archives that decided like, I want these doors to randomly open towards you instead of away.
None of all the doors are Norman doors in archives. Are you familiar with the concept of Norman doors?
Escapes me.
Norman doors are doors that open in the direction, or would appear to open a direction that makes no logical sense. Like you have a pull bar, but the doors push open, or you have a push bar, but the doors pull open. Those are Norman doors.
Oh, I see.
So,
Little door.
a lot of the doors in archives, even though there's really no indication on which way they should go, they seem to exclusively go in the direction that we would prefer they not go.
And I'm pretty sure that Norman also worked on Goldfinger because every one of those doors all the time is like that.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty
I will
rough.
say, whoever does whatever, I presume it was an alien, but whoever designed Deep Sea, that guy's a genius because it looks awesome and there's high ceilings. I wish ceilings were that high in my house because I am quite tall and I don't want to run into my fan. But yeah, that guy needs a pay raise. It looks awesome.
Well, we know it wasn't Greg.
No, definitely not. Because, well, I presume Greg's not an alien.
Well,
I can't.
we have established the possibility that he's a ghost. So
That gets into the whole minutia of whether, like, if you want to consider ghosts aliens, or if you group them in the same group of like crypto existence, or these kinds of things.
I mean, whatever works for you. I don't think I have any other good examples off the top of my head. Shoot.
I'll think of what level do you like? You like Bunker 2? Like, what do you think? Like, the layout is just like really good.
Oh. While I'm thinking about that, I did remember Statue has a ton of just complete crazy Luke architecture. So much,
everywhere.
so many hitboxes in Statue just don't make any sense or aren't anything close to what they appear to be.
Pretty sure Control's got some ugly ones too.
Not really.
Maybe I'm thinking of Caverns. I'm thinking of something, but I'm not putting the right word to the right thing.
Jungle has a bunch. All those trees are like 3 times their actual size.
That's
Jungle's
Mother
pretty bad.
Nature. So we call it Mother Nature. Like, fix your shit.
Oh shoot, let me think.
If you went to you were on vacation, right? You were overseas and you went to the rainforest, and it just took an hour to load when you got there.
Well, let me think. Practically speaking, like, I'd say Frigate has a really good layout, but so many of the ways that Frigate is set up is as a video game level and not as much as an actual boat. Like the way we get into certain rooms or have to move around the ship just doesn't quite feel natural. If they had left the dining hall in Facility, it would hands down be Facility. But they removed it from the video game version. But
Yeah.
the facility map holds a very special place in my heart, at the very least.
Right. Well, the two places in PD that make the most diegetic sense are like the investigation area and like the air base as a whole. Like those two areas make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very well laid out, and they, one looks like a research lab, the other one looks like an air base.
Yeah.
It even has. I'm not sure where. That's a giant ass hangar, but then again, Air Force One is a big plane, so
This is true.
it all checks out. So whoever designed them, like, yeah, they need a pay raise.
I would say even the whole Datadyne Tower makes sense. Practically speaking.
It is a big flex to have like your symbol like that big on top of a giant building. Like that's a pretty.
That level made a pretty big impression on me as a Ute.
I'll be interested to see what that particular building looks like in the upcoming new game. I don't even want to say remake. That's probably not accurate.
You're acting as if there's even going to be a Datadyne.
Maybe just for the meme, because we did technically see a Datadyne building. It may not be the building, but I also saw a pyramid, so that was a bit wild.
Yeah, so I mean, we already talked about that at length. So who's to know what that's gonna look like?
This is some insane Perfect Dark Jet Force Gemini crossover, which that would be nuts, but probably not.
Probably not. No. All right. Anything else you have to say here? I think we're good to wrap up our weekly here.
Yeah. I just want to say, to every oxygen stuck in PD, fuck you, and that's all I have to say.
Fair enough. Moving into the realm of games that are not GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, couple developments to talk about. Abney, after taking a couple months off, has come back, beaten the MK64 150cc skips run with, I believe, a sub 25-minute record.
Clean. He was the. He is the OG master of 150cc skips. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, that's kind of his. That's one of his categories, for sure.
Has there been any more development on that Calamari Desert skip by chance?
I don't think anyone else has gotten it since. But moving from Mario Kart 64 to Mario Kart Wii, there's been what they refer to as an ultra shortcut, which is essentially, I believe ultra is defined as anything where you're actually messing with like the lap flags to trick the game into thinking that you've gone all the way around already. There's been a long-standing TAS ultra shortcut on Rainbow Road on Mario Kart Wii, and obviously when something's TAS only but practical for a human being to perform, as this one is, it is practical for a human being to perform, humans will attempt to do it. And very recently, only 4 days ago, a Frenchman by the name of Arthur has become the first player to make the Rainbow Road Ultra shortcut.
I remember. I'm trying to remember the guy I watched. He was like explaining. It was a good video going in depth explaining like what an ultra shortcut was and how it like works within the system of the game. So, while I'm not, because I've never played Mario Kart Wii.
Well,
Salt
made a video about it, so it might have been that.
Maybe that.
Because I think Salt has a video that's literally the history of Mario Kart Wii Ultra shortcuts. If memory serves.
It might be. I feel like there was another one too, but it may come back. If it comes to my mind, I'll mention it. But eventually, like hopefully, we'll get to the point where every level has some cool wacky shortcut like this. I don't know how many they lack, but they've got to be close by now. So this is really cool to see this one be broken and be performed by a human.
Yeah, I believe he shaved 25 seconds off of the flap record and something in the realm of 20 seconds off of the 3-lap with actually performing it for the first time. So, GG's to Arthur. Good stuff.
Congrats on playing a good Mario Kart game, XD.
XD. Speaking of XD, Twitch made a boo-boo, as Twitch often does.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with the classic, the staple game of the year, Super Mario Brothers 2, correct?
Mario Brothers 2, baby.
Are you familiar with Super Mario Brothers 2: The Lost Levels, originally released in Japan as SMB2?
Yeah.
Well, Twitch was not. Twitch combined both games under one category, under one game, and I don't know whether this has been resolved yet, but at least for a time, if not still the case, The Lost Levels does not exist on Twitch, and was lumped under SMB2.
So are you telling me that the Lost Levels are lost?
They are indeed, or at least were. I'm not sure if they still are.
Sweet Jiminy Christmas. Well, the only way we can make this right is if Kratos streams LttP from start to finish on Twitch right now, and they'll realize their mistake, and they'll switch it back.
This is quite true. Let's see if the Lost Levels are back. I will look right now.
Oh jeez.
They are back. So they have successfully lobbied their case and complained that Twitch are fucking stupid, and that's been fixed. So good for them.
Kratos, you see what this negative energy in the universe is doing? You really need to close this gap. You need to fix this.
For shame, for sure. Another development, I'm not going to go too far into this because I actually don't know all of the details. But I've seen this meme pop up just a little bit. So if you're curious about it, I recommend looking into it. I believe someone made a video explaining it. I believe there's an NES game. I want to say it's a Dragon Ball game. I could be wrong about that. There's an NES game that you are able to perform certain glitches only if the console is literally overheated. So the runners have been placing their NES on hot plates in order to achieve the desired effect.
A hot plate?
Yes.
Okay. And
they're currently figuring out whether to allow this or not, because there's a good debate to be had here. Because these are glitches that were known about already, but they seemed to be inconsistent. They would only seem to happen, say, in the middle of summer. So
is this just is this a different flavor of like overclocking the console?
In a way, it is. I believe their current debate is whether this actually counts as hardware manipulation, since you could theoretically achieve the effect without intentionally doing it, as people have done in the past, playing in the middle of summer. So it's a bit of a mess.
This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
It is.
It's not too surprising, I suppose. You know, at a certain point, you've got to go to extreme measures to squeeze out some frames and whatnot.
Yeah. So that is a thing that exists. Last thing I'll bring up, Metroid Prime, the original Metroid Prime, seen a new, I suppose you could call it an Untied, by Justin DM, achieving a 48-minute time.
So let me get this straight. So we're ending the other game section this week, and it's not OOT 100%.
I was gonna throw the I think ZFG world record by like 13 seconds, which I was just gonna say like, oh, that's a thing that happened.
Oh, okay. I didn't want anyone to panic, because
Yeah. Although I will go on a quick tangent and say that at one point in the run, he was 3 minutes behind and managed to fight it back to actually PB. So, props to him.
Pretty good.
But anyway, the main thing I'm talking about here is the 48. So previously the record was 49, shared between Justin and T3. But there's been a couple of strategy developments, which I believe we mentioned at some point. We talked about getting power bombs early recently. And there's been some other things as well, so they were able to knock it down to the next in-game minute.
And I know since I think pretty much every Metroid game does track in-game time. So
at least they used to. It's from what I've gathered, it's like they all did in-game time first, and then a lot of them switched to RTA, and then some of them are like switching back.
Right. So even if they're not fully, because I remember back in the day, like even when like the Super Metroid guys, like they had switched fully to like RTA timing, they always all celebrated and thought it was really cool when another in-game minute was cut. So I know that they still care about it in at least some manner.
Yeah, they still value it for sure. But yeah, so there you go. There's some of the other games, and that brings us to the person of the pod. And I thought this was an appropriate choice.
All right, let's go and have it. Let's hear it.
The person of the pod is our lad, inspiration for so many parts of this show, Samo Schulten.
So some might argue that spiritually he's the person of the pod every time.
Considering how much we derived from him to form the foundations of this show, you could definitely make that argument and be quite correct. It is worth noting that a lot of the name ideas we had for this had nothing to do with Samo, including the Yellow Team, the Quad Negative podcast, and podcasts. None of which made it past the drawing board.
No, I did. Sweet Tea and PBs was pretty good. That wasn't so bad.
That one was close to doing it out, but ultimately Past the Runway was just too good. So yes, Samo, we stole a lot from you to make this show. We are not sorry, but you are the person of the pod. So congratulations on being alive. Good to have you back. I always find that I play with a bit more fire when my Aussie rival's around.
Might have to, because it looks like he's keen on doing some silo damage. I know how much you love that particular area.
Yeah, it looks like he's keen on doing more Samo things, which is playing extraordinarily illogically in such a way that he'll piss himself off the face of the planet. But time will tell for sure.
I mean, if the perfect Samo thing to do to like get on your nerves would be to just get good silo times that you have to match or beat, and you already don't care for silo that much.
This is true. I do need to go back to silo anyway, so whatever. Those times are like 2 years old now. Go for it. All All right, moving on to the Q&A. We have a ton of great questions today. Thank you to both QWERTY and Dr. Light for submitting questions. If you have questions for us to answer, we will answer literally anything. Please submit them to either of us via Discord, YouTube comment, whatever you see fit. They typically Discord us stuff. And I was gonna save some of these questions for future episodes just because I'm never sure if we're gonna have any questions to answer, but they've been supplying questions so regularly. We're just gonna answer all of them and hope that they provide us with more here in a couple weeks. So first question, what combination of PRs of yours would you put on your pizza?
Okay, well, first of all, you've got to, in my opinion, you know, pizza, you got crust and you got bread and you got cheese. That's where those are the defaults, right? That's where we start.
Yes. Yeah.
In my opinion, pepperoni should be elevated to that space. It should come like default on the pizza no matter what. Unless you're just one of these people that just want cheese for some reason. Like pepperoni should be standard.
I do not disagree with that.
Keeping in line with that, one of my standard like quintessential PRs would be the Rescue 217. So like that would have to be on the pizza for sure. Have to. And then what else I would like to do for my pizza is I'm gonna put a little bit of spice, a bit of tang, like a bit of crumble up some feta cheese on there, which I would use my G5 SA40 as that. So we're putting that on the pie.
I agree with where this is going so far.
And let's have a look. See. I would like to put. Okay, so I'd like to put some. I'd like to put some green pepper on there because I like the crunch. I like the crunch and the crisp with the bell pepper in there. Give it some body and some character. And for that, I'm gonna put my first ever LTK Untied on there. It's gonna be my Escape 412.
Not bad, not bad. I tend to never go beyond the feta phase personally. I'm pretty boring.
I'm a bit. I like to get a little exotic from time to time. So.
But pepperoni and feta are like my go-to pizza options. That's like, it's that or I just don't get pizza. But I'm gonna answer this in a little bit of a different way than how you did it. Because when I looked at this question, I thought about it for half a second and I instantly had an answer, and I don't know why this is my answer. I cannot explain it whatsoever. But I instantly thought of it, so it must be right, and I would put my Cradle 0034 on my pizza.
This is a lot like going back to the book question from last time.
Exactly. Like sometimes like it just you get it and it's like, okay, I cannot think of anything else. I do not know why that works, but that is the answer. I don't know.
You don't even have a line of logic for why you'd put the Cradle 0034 on there, but it's going on the pizza.
Nope, that is my pizza topping. This next one, I still need to think of an answer for this one. What movie would you watch if it had N64 graphics?
Would I watch if it had N64 graphics? Oh, that's easy. I would watch The Goonies by Steven Spielberg.
There you go.
It basically already has N64 graphics, but also it's it's a cool little pirate adventure romp. So I can just pretend they're just running around Treasure Trove Cove. So I think that's the movie I would watch because it's the first thing that came to my mind, and it also kind of makes sense.
My boring answer is Goldeneye.
You've only done it now.
Um, for what I hope are obvious reasons.
You could have said, like, the world is not enough or something.
I could have, but I didn't. And I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to my guns. Like we should all stick it to Kratos.
Shameful.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of movies that would be enhanced by it, and I have to think of like.
Have you ever seen a Muppet Christmas Carol?
I probably have, but it would have been years.
So you know Muppets and A Christmas Carol, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's combine the two. But now imagine just like you're running around and Kermit and Fozzie are like super blocky. So like that could be pretty good.
I feel like we need to take this and like make worse movies even worse so that they're better. Like The Room.
Was it 64 graphics?
Like The Room with 64 graphics. Like that would be like the ultimate cult classic.
Some terrible like romantic comedy, but it looks like Quest 64 now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this real quick before we move on. What movies would you have to watch with the expansion pack if they were turned into N64 graphics? Like you would have to have the expansion pack to watch The Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh yeah. Probably anything longer than an hour and a half. Any of the more modern feature length films, I suppose.
Anything 2 hours or above, you got to have the expansion pack.
Yeah. So it's all about that length. All right. Any preds for the people or times in upcoming hordes? I do not personally enjoy doing preds. So the only predictions I will make for the upcoming hordes is that the Project Quarantine will have Dirty Harry and Zach Mulek in it.
You sure you want to go on a limb like that? That's a pretty tough pred.
I am positive.
Oh man. Oh Jesus. Any preds? I am. I am just going. I'm going to say I'm not going to pred people or times. I'm just going to say that we're going. I'm going to say we're going to see 2 Chicago 14s in it. That's my pred.
Interesting. That's a spicy pred. That's a green bell pepper of a pred.
It's a bit spicier than that. It's probably like a jalapeno because it technically if you're familiar with the Scoville scale, a bell pepper rings in at 0, so there is no spice there.
Well, I guess I'm not.
So you got to get more in like the black pepper, the jalapeno before we start running it up a little bit. It's not quite a serrano, so it's not that hot, but jalapeno, it's a filter. It's entry level, but it's still you could get a hot jalapeno.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not much of a spice man myself.
Oh man, you don't want to come to my kitchen then. I've got a bottles of hot sauce in the cabinet right now.
Speaking of hot sauce, what is your favorite Pokemon?
Well, this is pretty easy, mainly because I only have like a pool of 251 to pick from because I played Gen 2 and I stopped there. So I'm not familiar with the other 7 million that there are by now, I'm sure. But I'm going to go with the first one that comes to mind, and I'm going to say Lapras.
Not a bad pick. Mine is ostensibly Jolteon, and has been for a very, very, very long time.
Not a bad pick. Arguably the best of the the evolutions, especially the OG ones.
Oh, I would say the best. But then it is my favorite Pokemon, so of course I'm gonna argue that.
Yeah, bit biased in that
There's a
regard.
there's a great picture. My sister is an artist, and she'll occasionally draw presents for us other family members. And for my birthday a couple years ago, she drew a birthday Jolteon with my classic sarcastic grimace and one of those like party woo things in its mouth. It's such a great image.
That's pretty good.
I should try and dig that up. I know I have it around here somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but yep. Okay. And last but not least, I think we kind of touched on this at one point. Favorite Perfect Dark voice line.
The problem that you have is that there's no way to sneak into the research section. The only way the only way through is a weak
Weak section of wall. I've marked in the room beyond the stores. It can be destroyed with explosives.
Doesn't sound like a it's either that or I mean, you shouldn't have come here, girl is very strong. And
the rescue opening became so iconic because of the month of rescue that I did. That's it became an iconic meme in my channel. Mine is hands down though. You shouldn't have come here, girl.
It's too strong.
It's too good. It's too good. It's just too good. And the fact that there is probably someone still in the Elite Discord whose name is "You shouldn't have come here, girl" is just too good. That's you can't beat that. You can't.
Oh, you really can't. I do like on a tag ship where Cass does the stock like Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Like that one's pretty good. And then of course my other the cult classic that I like is my voice acting debut of the defection PA programmer. Like those are good. But that's kind of biased since it is me. So
yes, indeed.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
You know.
Oh goodness! Maybe they'll hire the same voice actors for the PD remake, and they can get another.
I could use a check. I wouldn't turn it down. So call me, developers I've never heard of. Call me. I'm here.
I'm not sure the developers had ever heard of Perfect Dark, so probably in a similar boat. Okay, well that brings us through the Q&A. Time for the trivia answer. Do you have a guess? Again, the question. 32 untieds currently in Goldeneye. So times that are currently untied as of the making of this, and are not including hoarded times, obviously, because why the fuck would we? 32 untieds. How many were achieved before I joined the Elite in very early March of 2018?
I am going to say that out of the 32 achieved before you were here, I am going to say 24.
24 before I joined.
Right.
Okay. This is going to be a similar case as to what happened last week, where I was nowhere close. You are nowhere close.
Oh no.
A mere 5 were achieved before I joined.
5, you say?
5. The only currently standing untieds that were achieved before I joined the Elite, in reverse order of being achieved. Henrik's Train 00148, achieved in January of 2018. Dam 52 from December 2017. Silo SA 107 from November 2017. Aztec 135 from September 2017. And Frig SA 48 from March 2017. Every other currently standing untied in Goldeneye was achieved after I joined the Elite, with the first of those being Bunker 1 SA20 in May of 2018.
I can't, man. I really don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to GE. Apparently, so.
It's there have been a lot of crazy records achieved here in the last little while. So there you have it. That will either make you feel old, or make me seem old, or make me seem super young, or make the time seem super old. It'll fuck with your perception of time in some way.
Yeah, get ready for that paradigm to shift ever so slightly.
Yeah, just thinking about that. So, well, I think we're good to go here. We I should say that the I made that Pollywood Minecraft logo earlier on, and I added it to the layout, so it's been on the layout of the cast the entire time.
Fantastic.
So I'll make sure to send that to you here once we stop. But is there anything else you'd like to say to the wonderful people here in the Elite that listen to us on a bi-weekly basis?
You know, I just want to say, good luck on your runs to everybody, and just drop by and tell Kratos how disappointed you are in him for his life decision.
This is I will second that, certainly. Well, I think we're good to sign off. Pauli will say his little spiel after I do, but goodbye forever.
Good luck on the runs. Be safe. Don't be weird, and goodbye forever.